3 years ago, in 2025, China conquered Taiwan and Russia conquered most of Europe. International trade plummeted. World War III remains in effect, but it's mostly quiet and there's some sort of an uneasy truce going on.
Mick, last month CENTCOM deployed F-22 Raptors to deter Russian flights above American bases. What's Russia's motivation to do this now?
So, Diane, it looks like not just Russia, but Russia, Iran, and China have really focused on these harassment tactics as a means to express themselves and potentially change the discussion. These are mostly nuisances, but they can lead to significant exchange.
Now, the head of CENTCOM also says airspace violations are happening regularly. And in March, we saw that video of a Russian fighter jet crashing with a U.S. drone.
However, every day there is multiple flights by drones and planes into North American airspace, and we keep getting hit by missiles. This is severely tiring our air forces.
.6. 0.5 fights on. Looking for the turn circle entry.
05 Whiskey 546.
Right about there. It's going downhill.
Altitude. Altitude.
Radar contact, 4 miles east of Five Wells Airport. China Lake altimeter 2965. Contact Los Angeles 4.22.
And of course, providing scary sonic booms everywhere. Nuclear weapons have not yet, thank goodness, been used, but they keep moving them around. The rumour is they're in Canada as well now. Pretty sure they are. Of course, some of the Russian drones are actually armed and are furthering our misery. And of course, China's also sending missiles over onto the west coast quite often, trying to get America to agree that Taiwan is China.
With a tragic scene at one of America's busiest ports, a deadly cargo ship fire at Port Newark in New Jersey. New images just coming in moments ago. That fire now burning for nearly 24 hours. 2 firefighters killed when they became trapped on board, overtaken by the flames. The firefighters issuing maydays, becoming lost in the fire. Cars engulfed in flames, exploding on the decks hours after the fire began. Fire crews trying to contain the fire with water, forced to take breaks to avoid sinking the ship.
Got a firefighter that's on the floor where they went in, and he's here.
The first mayday call and then the second. 2 department veterans trapped between cars, the fire out of control. Their fellow firefighters risking their own lives to try to save them.
Firefighter Brooklyn, firefighter Huples, you can hear this? Activate your panic alarm button. This is headquarters.
It would take more than 2 hours to evacuate Augusto Akabu.
We found a firefighter. We need help.
And another 2 to get to Wayne Brooks.
He's still wedged between the cars.
Both men pronounced dead at the hospital, hailed as heroes.
5 other firefighters were injured battling the blaze in intense heat. Newark's fire chief says his department does not train for this specific kind of incident.
Back to that breaking news here at 6:30 on a massive fire that continues to burn.
Yeah, it's a massive blaze, and they're nowhere close to being able to put this fire out. And you can see how intensely the fire is burning as we pan to the right. That entire row of buses right there, they've just backed off from. They figure they can't put that out. They can't stop it. And they're concerned about the safety of the firefighters because we've had a lot of explosions and power lines arcing, transformers blowing up. Also, if we open up and come to the right a little bit, what we're concerned about, firefighters are really saying, hey, let's just contain this. But on the right side of your screen, you see it spread to that structure. And even though that's white smoke, that could start to take off as well. Now, fortunately, we don't have any winds this morning. That is really key to this not becoming even a larger fire. It is huge.
Hours have turned into more than a day, and the fire is still burning at the Chemtool chemical plant in Rockton, Illinois. And fire crews expect that fire to keep burning for even more days.
A massive fire in Rockton, Illinois Monday.
We got called at about 8:20 and we got back here about 7:30.
Meant an 11-hour day for some firefighters in Wisconsin.
The biggest one I've ever seen, and I've been doing this for 27 years.
We were able to see the plume from here. I've never been able to see a fire that far out before.
The fire at the Chemtool plant in Rockton started around 7 a.m. Monday. The fire chief says an industrial firefighting crew came from Louisiana.
And they have actually dug trenches along the west side of Chemtool to act as a block of any type of residual material that might go into the Rock River.
People within 1 mile were evacuated, and people within 3 miles are being asked to wear masks.
What's left of the European NATO forces are in North America. They're training with Canada and America to try and integrate their military into ours. This is because we expect invasion by land at some point, even though by now in 2028, most people don't think it's going to happen.
It's nice working with the American guys because we're very similar. I think a lot of the young lads are realising how similar the Americans are to us. It's languages are different. So just the way they talk about things, that's it.
When you're coming off, I want to make sure you go off the 6 o'clock being the most desirable, 3, 9, 12 being least desirable due to low drooping rotors.
3, 2, 1, 36 inches. 13.
Facing various threats, including green figures with wooden rifles. They're static but fall when hit, and they've successfully taken all of them out.
Enemy suppressed at the minute, they're not moving.
What we're testing is the interoperability of slotting in somebody company-sized within an American battle group, within an American brigade, within an American div, and say, how well can you execute, having not met these people before, moving with very little equipment. What you're doing is plugging in the man and saying, how well can we perform?
They are a game changer for us. Just water consumption out here is through the roof. We're kind of consuming up to about 10 litres a day per man, and we just can't carry that. Because the more you carry, the more water you need to consume.
Predominantly used by their special forces, but they're now starting to roll them out to the wider army. However, the utilisation of them hasn't been quite figured out yet, so we're kind of trial running for 389 Cav how we're going to operate. So basically, you've got the driver and commander stations in there. It's exactly the same as a civilian ATV, so you've got automatic drive, accelerated brake, like a little go-kart when you're cutting across the open ground, and then the panic bar for the commander when we start getting a bit airborne and start going a bit faster on corners. So he's got a nice little grip there. And then obviously the back seats. So predominantly where we'd use the back seats is for either kit carriage as we're doing now, or if we do take any casualties, we can then extract this kit out, put injured personnel in real-time or exercise play, strap them in and then extract them off the battlefield.
The daily missile and drone strikes keep happening, and quite a few of them do get through and cause a lot of damage. Next Friday, the attacks on North America escalate and the economic damage becomes quite terrible.
Is this normal? Is this a busy time right now?
No, this is normal.
The reality here starts from 9th Ave to 13th Ave, between Jefferson and just south of Jackson. Nearly 1,100 unsheltered people, but patience is dwindling.
Banks across the country are now seeing lines out their doors, down their roads, with households hoping to get what they need.
We've been out here since about 5 o'clock this morning when the first cars started to arrive. And as you can see, the line just continues to grow and grow as the morning goes on. It's a troubling thought to know these cars are full of people struggling to put food on the table.
Постоянное транспортное сообщение между Херсонской областью и Республикой Крым, оно уже было практически налажено.
Breaking news overnight, triggering catastrophic flooding on the East Coast. At least one person was killed. Crews racing to rescue people through the night.
This is, of course, a fictional account of World War III. I hope it never happens. I hope we have peace throughout the world. Wherever you are, take care. Toodles. Shh. This has been a Tiny Terrier 2023